Hi, welcome to Blinkity Bloop. I'm Drew D'Amelia.
And I'm Nick Padula.
And this is a podcast all about movies that have come out recently. And, as I'm sure you guys probably have figured out, there are two Blinkity Bloops. Mm-hmm. And this is not the band Blinkity Bloop that I would have hoped that you've heard of by now.
Yeah.
It's not the music that you know and love. No, instead we got a sort of... I suppose out of character movie review thing going on.
I'd say it's a little spin-off. No, it's not a spin-off because it's not correlated.
Yeah.
It's not correlated. So
just a side gig, I guess.
Happens to have the same title, which might be confusing to the layman, but to people who know us, they can differentiate.
Yeah. So, get to know us. And
yeah.
You'll get to know us during this fine episode of Blinkity Bloop where we have another grab bag episode, which I guess I shouldn't phrase it like that. I think that's just the norm now.
All right, we are just the grab bag Blinkity Bloop gang.
Yeah, I guess.
Grab bag gang. Boys.
I don't think that's going to stick.
Nope.
But in this hat, we have movies that either myself, Nick, or both of us have seen recently. It's pretty much all 2018 movies in here, or 2017 movies that have been released in 2018. So... that's what we're going to do. We're going to take turns picking a movie out of this hat and discussing it. And Nick, my attractive partner in crime, my musical man, how about you pick from this hat? You clearly deserve it.
Well, don't mind if I do. Reaching into this hat, for anyone who can't see, my hand is in a purple hat now.
I'm still holding on to the hat as he reaches into it.
Yep, for a nice visual picture to paint.
Whoa, you got one.
Okay, yep, this movie, yep. This movie, it's a dark drama that takes place in South Africa during apartheid.
Wow.
It covers some heavy issues that you don't see often.
That's crazy.
In mainstream cinema.
I'm enchanted by this description. Please go on.
This is a brave choice, and that brave choice is Father of the Year.
Tell me about Father of the Year, Nick.
Well, it involves a South African father and his children.
David Spade is South African?
He does a really convincing accent.
Wow.
I didn't see this movie.
I believe that it is a Netflix original.
Aha. Wow. We have a trope going on where I don't see Netflix movies, and Drew seems to see all of them.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, there's way too many to see all of them.
There really are a whole fucking lot of them.
You can't keep up.
Now, I just want to make sure you're not confused, because there was another Netflix movie that came out recently called Like Father, which we discussed.
Yep.
This is not that movie. It's Father of the Year.
There's no Kelsey Grammer.
No. So David Spade is a close second, though.
Ooh, that's... Kelsey Grammer somewhere just, found out he had a brain tumor.
So, buddy, how do you feel about Happy Madison movies?
I liked some of the older ones as a kid, and I feel like if I rewatched them, I'd be like, this is okay.
Well, buddy, we got another Happy Madison movie for you right here.
Oh, joy. Does it live up to the legacy of older Adam Sandler films?
I mean, from what I know about the Happy Madison Company, it didn't actually found until after all those classic movies Adam Sandler made that everyone loved.
Okay,
I believe Happy Gilmore and... let's see... no, it's Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, is that it? And that makes Happy Madison... no, wait, where the fuck does Madison come from? What is...
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. Yeah. Right, okay. And that I'm pretty sure the company was founded after all of that, and I don't think that they have very many illustrious movies in their pantheon. Did I use that word correctly?
Yeah, that's it.
But Father of the Year...
okay.
is following on the coattails of a lot of not-so-well-reviewed movies, and this one, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes, if you want to, take a look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's got 0% last time I checked.
That's an achievement.
It is an achievement. And I have to say, I did play a drinking game with some friends for this, and today's drinking game was every time they say any variation of father,
oh no,
take a drink. I got to where I needed to be. I did complete the game.
That's good.
It was a good time. but there are a lot of drinks.
I can imagine that is a common word with a movie that has a title that involves father.
Well, you don't know. The father could have been dead. Like, oh, phew, good. But yeah, it came. It was mostly in the form of dad or daddy. Actually, I don't think daddy came up a lot. But anyway, I will say this. I did make sure afterward, since I was a little tipsy toodles, to do a little background research and make sure that my experience was validated by others that were a little less drunk. And I believe the conclusion that I've come to is that there were genuine funny moments in this movie. A lot of it was boring and you did not care, but there were some moments where I actually laughed.
Oh.
And I have to say, that puts this above so many comedies from this year. Because the bar is so low. Because if I laugh 5 times, I'm like, wow, this is one of the best comedies of the year.
That's bold.
It's upsetting. Because Happy Madison does not have a very good legacy. And I don't have a problem with acknowledging when something's good, even if the reputation preceding that something isn't the best. But
Yeah.
it feels wrong and sickening that I'm saying a Happy Madison movie made me laugh more than a lot of other comedies this year.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm by no means giving this a glowing recommendation.
No.
I would honestly just avoid it unless you got some alcohol you want to use and you like my drinking games, but there were moments. But yeah, if you want to see David Spade grow tits and then lose them real quick, and you want to see him naked in a pickup truck swimming pool, and if you want to see boys digging a hole and then having sex with an old large lady, I guess if you might be wondering what the movie's about.
Yeah.
I guess it's about 2 dads that fight each other, but that's only what happens for some of the movie.
Oh. Okay.
So I guess it's kind of a dad fight movie is the best that I can put it.
Who was the other dad?
Mr. Majingles.
Oh, that guy. He's great.
He's a very fine, talented, strapping young lady.
Yep. Not to go back on one of your earlier points, but you mentioned David Spade growing tits.
Yeah.
What was the context for that? I'm just curious.
He was being a part of a science experiment, and they were putting on cream to make your nipples less hard, which I have to say I disagree with that science. I feel they should be working on creams that can make your nipples hard.
Permanently?
Not permanently, but I feel like often the problem is that nipples, when they're erect, are generally considered sexier, I would think, than floppy, unerect nipples.
Right.
So, you want to be able to have some formula rounds to pop your nipples. And, I just think that we need more science experiments about that. Instead, we have these people that are trying to shrink your nipples, and I just...
floppy.
It bothered me, but obviously something went wrong, and David Spade grew literal woman breasts, and then they went away.
So, does anything live up to that level of unrealism?
No.
So that's the most crazy thing that happens?
Absolutely.
That's bizarre.
Yes.
Okay, I have no more questions.
I'll pick from the hat then. It's not the first time I've seen David Spade with tits.
And it won't be the last.
I'm not even sure it's the second time, honestly.
It might be the 12th.
But let me tell you, I like to keep things classy, but
Yeah.
this movie, there are things about it that really turned me on.
Ooh.
And when I tell you the title, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
I bet.
You Were Never Really Here.
Oh, Jesus. You do not want to be turned... If you're turned on by this, you are probably a terrible person.
It's maybe one of the worst possible movies I could have picked, because I don't remember this movie too well, but I believe it was about someone hunting down pedophiles.
Human
more or less.
traffickers
Okay.
that traffic children.
Yeah, is there anything in this that was... Joaquin Phoenix was shirtless at one point, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was the sexy part. Okay. Even though he was a horribly broken, tragic character.
Yes.
That was just maybe never happy.
Right.
I don't remember this movie very well at all. I don't really need the plot read back to me, but I guess I remember it being sad. And I don't know why it didn't stick with me as much as it probably stuck with you. I feel like the material is pretty compelling. I mean, trying to stop child trafficking.
It's a subject that's been very important to me because people don't talk about it as much as they should, but it's a serious, serious issue that's going on in our country and many other countries. And it's a problem that's going on all over the world, and people need to be talking about it. Like people talk about poverty and war, and human trafficking is just as serious, if not more so.
Yeah, so it's good they made a movie about it. I don't know why it wasn't more memorable to me. I guess maybe, things happened. They did. But maybe it was just all kind of flat to me, just in terms of a tone. Like, everything was really sad. And I feel like there wasn't even that much action, really. It was just a lot of stuff happening.
There were like 5 or 6 like interesting deaths, like Joaquin Phoenix running around a hotel full of pedophiles, and he hammered.
That I remember. I remember that sticks out to me, but nothing else quite well. The ending scene, like, well, if I knew you was coming, I'd bake you a cake, and then he blows his brains out to that. And I was like, that's nice. I remember.
But he didn't actually. It was a
spoiler.
You already spoiled it by saying he blew his brains out.
Yeah, we got spoiler tags now, baby.
Woo! We're safe.
But, yeah, I feel like maybe if I see it a second time, it'll be a little more compelling to me. It seems like one of those movies where the information, the way they give it to you, is just kind of hard to follow and a little boring the way they present it, so it doesn't really encourage you to be along for the ride.
It had a bit of a minimalist feel to it. It didn't leave room for, like, narrative or character development. It just, like... It's like dropping a slinky down the stairs. Once it starts, you don't stop it.
I thought you were going to say more like, it was just really raw, and then you just went into a slinky going down the stairs. I'm like, that is raw. There's nothing rawer than a slinky going down the stairs.
I guess that may not be the best comparison because you can stop a slinky technically. You can stand in front of it and stop it.
There are many ways to stop a slinky.
Okay, so it's like a bullet coming out of a gun.
It's like a human trafficker coming down the stairs.
You can't stop.
It's hard to stop human trafficking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there we go.
All right.
Achoo.
Oh, you sneezed a hat at me.
Yep.
Oh, man, that's unsanitary.
Shove your hand right inside my sneezy hat.
Oh, wow, that's weird. Okay. Anyways, this movie is about another subject that's very important to me that not enough people talk about, and that's Big Pharma. And that's, for anyone who doesn't know, Big Pharma are the super wealthy companies that run the medical industry, and they shoot up prices of diabetes medication and other life-saving medications for profit. And this movie really hits the nail on the head, covering this vital topic.
See, if you just left it at, this movie was also about something that meant a lot to me, then, like, there's a very broad range of movies this could be, but you've really narrowed it down here. So let's see what this obvious pick that you have in your hands is.
It would be The Year of Spectacular Men.
Hey!
And let me guess. Okay, I didn't see it. Was it a Netflix film?
Nope.
Okay, well, nice to mix things up.
It was a 2017 movie. It had my girl, Zooey Douche.
Wow, she's really
Zooey Douche is back!
Blowing it up.
We've now literally talked about, I believe, all the movies that I've seen Zooey Douche in at this point.
So far. We could have like 7 more by the end of 2018.
I could be fibbing. There could be more in the hat secretly.
Oh,
but,
no.
Well, yeah, we are at 3 Zooey Douche appearances. Hooray!
World record.
Hooray, Zooey Douche!
Yeah.
Zooey Douche was great. And I learned she had a sister that also acts that was in this movie.
Is her name Dewey Zooch?
Wow, that was a very good guess. No, I think it's Danielle or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's also Douche, though. So we got another Douche.
I figured.
She was also excellent, though. Just really compelling. It was a movie that was basically just about the chapter of this girl's life, and she's kind of a wreck. And she meets a lot of guys over the course of a year, and it's not exactly about the guys. The guys are more just sort of a backdrop, to her life and things that are happening in general. But what sold me on the movie wasn't exactly what it was about. Not really the story, not exactly the theme. I just really liked the characters. It was really all about the characters for me. There's something about those douches that just really gets you perked up and listening. You know what I mean?
Great douches.
Yeah. And genuinely, they were fun. I mean, there was stuff in that movie I didn't care about at all. Like, one of the douches was like a model that was famous, and paparazzi were waiting outside our house. I'm like, I don't give a shit about celebrities, even remotely. Fuck this. But I didn't care because I liked Zooey Douche, and I liked the other douche. I like my douches.
Did they play sisters?
They did. It was funny because the main character, the unnamed douche, was the writer of this movie, and she started out in it, obviously, and her sister in real life played her sister in this movie, and her mom in real life directed this movie.
Wow.
And played the mom.
Wow, a nice family production.
It was a literal family, which was really interesting, except I think the mom in real life is married to a guy who's also an actor, but in this, she was a lesbian.
Oh, man, I wonder how the dad in real life felt about that, seeing his wife mac on another lady.
Oh, yeah. And this is also the mom, I think I mentioned this before, the mama from Back to the Future that played the mama in Back to the Future.
Wasn't she in another movie we talked about?
No, but I mentioned Zooey Douche and her mama before,
okay.
I think.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
Yeah, you did.
So yeah, we had a real life family playing a fake family, and I feel like the dynamics are probably very different in this, and I don't know any of them in real life enough, but I just liked the characters a lot. There is something very raw about this, and not in a you were never really here kind of way exactly, because this was a comedy, it really was. But it was just all very funny, and it didn't feel written exactly. Like I get, you could say it meandered a little bit, but it meandered in a fun way where you felt like you were just watching these real vignettes of people that were both real and fun to experience. There are just these little touches in the movie that made it funnier. You know what I mean? Like a sex scene where there's sweat dripping everywhere and someone's naked back gets on the floor and a bunch of shit gets stuck to it. It's just stuff like that. These little touches of realism that were played for laughs, and it worked. One might even say that this movie from this year was surely above average and rather good.
Don't you mean to say spectacular?
It wasn't spectacular. I didn't say that.
But it sounded like you were leading up to using the title of the movie as a joke.
Can you maybe just shut the fuck up and let me have this moment?
Sorry.
It's a good movie. You should see it.
Yep.
I liked it.
Okay.
And this movie, on the other hand, well, okay, I'll just admit it. It was spectacular, this movie that I'm about to pick.
Oh, boy.
Really just one of the best of the year. It was so fine. What a fine movie.
That's great to hear.
Ideal Home was.
Ideal Home?
Yep.
Okay, another movie I didn't see, Netflix movie.
I don't think it was, no.
Okay, well, how'd you see it?
I watched it, and not on Netflix.
We'll leave that to the listener's imagination.
It came out on DVD. What do you want from me?
You don't buy DVDs of random movies.
You you don't have to buy DVDs, you can rent them.
You use Redbox?
No, I rent.
From what?
You can rent shit digitally all the time.
Oh, yeah, like Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I had to go down that road of investigation.
Okay, I stole it.
Aha! Got you red-handed.
I'll say this. I need to stop seeing movies just because Paul Rudd is in it.
Oh, this is the breaking point for you and Paul Rudd?
Listen, I like Paul Rudd. He's a fine, charismatic person that I've never met in real life. And he was in this as well as Steve Coogan, I think his name is.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a talented British comedian, and he's kind of playing... He's still a funny character, but what I really liked about Steve Coogan's performance is he let moments breathe. And I feel like you can tell a lot about the talents of a comedic actor, because some comedic performers really feel like they got to be funny at all moments, but you can tell that there are people that understand a deeper level of comedy when they don't necessarily feel like they have to be funny in a moment. They just let it play out so the moment can be funny, not just their character. And I feel like there are a lot of moments where Steve Coogan wasn't necessarily funny himself, but his performance made the moment funny.
Okay.
And I respected that. I did. I didn't really get that so much from Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd was fine. It's basically, they were two gay, fun fellows that were gay together, and there was a boy, and they raised the boy.
Okay.
I didn't care. I didn't care.
Did they fuck?
Yes.
On screen?
Yes.
Was there man ass?
No. You got to see... It wasn't too much of a fuck, but...
Was it a sex scene played for comedic effect?
Well, the sex itself wasn't the joke. The joke was that the kid was knocking on the door while they were doing it.
Okay, that's fair. Because sometimes gay sex is played for comedic effect, and it's really, like, disappointing to see, because... You want it to be authentic. But.
No, the gay thing was fine. In fact, I'm a little bothered because the movie seemed like it wanted to be about, oh, isn't it weird to have two dads? But I feel like it really didn't commit to that at all.
It just made it seem right.
Pretty much, yeah. I feel like there were moments where they were laying out pieces of, see, some people think this is wrong, but no, it just seems pretty much accepted by most people.
Yeah.
So... I don't know, by the end of the movie, I just went, all right, I guess these two gay guys learned that they can raise a child, and that's fine.
That's pretty basic.
I didn't really care about the child. The child kept wanting Taco Bell, and I guess it was a joke. He only eats Taco Bell. Oh, jeez. I think their toilets can't be holding up very well if that's the case.
I mean, that kid has to be, his insides are like emptied out every night, and that's gotta hurt.
Yeah. But I didn't really care about the kid. I guess Steve and Paul were fine. Paul had a nice beard. Looked good.
That's nice.
But I don't know. It wasn't that funny. I didn't laugh that much. There was a lot of snark, but it wasn't good snark.
Oh.
It was just... You said that last time, and remember what happened then? Like, that's a weird way to put it, but...
It sounds like the setup to a Family Guy joke.
No, I wasn't trying to imply a flashback or anything.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel... It was one of those movies where you can tell, yeah, this is a comedy, but nothing makes you laugh.
Ooh, yeah, that's rough.
So it was unfortunate.
Feels like a drama.
No, it feels like a comedy, just not a good comedy.
Oh.
I mean, it might be some people's piece of gay pie, but for me, it just wasn't satisfactory.
What's your piece of gay pie?
My piece of gay pie? Ooh. That's a good question. And you know what the answer is?
What?
The movie you're about to pick out of this hat.
Oh, yes, the ultimate... I haven't even reached in yet, but it's the ultimate LGBTQ plus symbol.
Say it again, but faster.
LGBTQ plus.
No, just start the whole sentence again. It's the ultimate.
It's the ultimate LGBTQ film.
Try again.
It's the ultimate LGBTQ plus film.
Try again, because I was laughing when you started the line.
It's the ultimate LGBTQ plus film. And this film is... Alex Strangelove. Oh, wow. That's that is really weird how that worked out. Shit. That's a strange coincidence.
That's strange love coincidence.
Strange love. Ooh, well. So the reason why that works is because this movie is about a kid who's trying to figure out his sexuality.
Wait, hold on. Is this a Netflix movie?
Yes. That I saw.
Well, I haven't.
What is this, fucking opposite day?
My piece of gay pie. You ate it before I could.
So much rainbow.
That's a lot of carbs.
Oh, no. Okay, so Alex Strangelove, by the way, this has nothing to do with Dr. Strangelove, which I was very disappointed about because I'm like, oh, Alex, maybe he's related to the Nazi scientist in that classic Kubrick film.
Is that who Dr. Strangelove was? Was the Nazi scientist Dr. Strangelove?
Yeah.
That was his name?
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie, and I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So the movie's named after him. Dr. Strangelove is named after that character?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he
wasn't that important.
Yeah.
I never thought about it. But that title does seem... I mean, the other chunk of the title seems more appropriate.
Yeah, I think it's because... You know what? I don't actually know. We'd have to look into it, and we don't have time to research classic cinema
We can't talk about Dr. Strangelove instead of Alex Strangelove.
Yeah, we have to get into this Netflix film.
All right.
And by the way, his name in the movie wasn't even Strangelove. His name was Alex Truelove, which sounds worse.
Wait, what? What? Did they explain it at all in the movie?
In the movie, his last name is Truelove, and they say love is strange, but that's the closest they get.
Okay.
Maybe they call him Alex Strangelove as a joke, but it's not his real last name.
I guess I kind of see where they're going for, but if you think about it, they kind of went out of their way to make this title confusing to people that are familiar with Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah.
They could have just called it True Love. Why not?
I mean, to be fair, the movies are completely unrelated, so there's no reason the Dr. Strangelove crowd would cross into the Alex Strangelove crowd.
I don't know, man. I know a lot of people that are huge fans of both Dr. Strangelove and Alex Strangelove.
Oh, wow.
And they're very upset. I mean, listen, I don't want to go on a big soapbox rant here, but you gotta make sure that you title things clearly. You do not want people to get confused.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Right.
If you have two titles that just sound too similar, it's just going to create chaos.
No one's going to get it, and people are going to mix things up, and it'll be ridiculous.
Yeah. So, stepping off my soapbox, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, yeah. Get off the soapbox.
I did.
It's full of soap.
I'm off of it.
People need that soap.
I'm sorry.
And,
I'm not.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so this film is a coming-of-age comedy, and the comedy didn't always land, but what did land for me is the sincerity of what it's like to be a teenager struggling with their sexuality. That part they nailed on the head, and I think part of that is because the writer of it said it's partially based on his life, so
Well, that's cool.
it makes sense. And like you can feel those like real raw emotions when he's talking to this guy he's clearly sexually attracted to, but he's like, no, I have this girlfriend and we're definitely gonna have sex and it's gonna be great. And he keeps putting off the sex with his girlfriend, and it's like becoming a joke, and his friends are like, you're totally gay, bro, and it's like a joke, but then it turns out to be true.
I like that angle of it because I guess I'll compare it to Love, Simon, which also came out this year. And that was about a gay guy that was closeted, but I don't think he really saw him in a relationship with a girl. So it sounds like Alex Strangelove kind of explored the push-pull of, oh, I'm in this committed relationship with this girl, but I really want to fuck this guy. Ooh, jeez. Oh, no. So I like that. That's interesting. I feel like it's probably been done like 100 times before, but, you know, still worth seeing. So I mean, I guess it's sort of a mixed bag here. It's bad that we're not completely familiar with the gay side of narrative storytelling yet, but it also makes for fresher movies, right?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of I don't know how to feel about that. And I guess I'll just eat away that thought by picking a new movie.
Great idea.
And this movie, you know, some movies just make you hungry, you know what I mean?
Like Super Size Me?
Well, no, but maybe that made you hungry. I guess some people, maybe they watch Ratatouille or something and went, gosh, I must get some concessions. This movie, it really got my appetite going.
Oh, boy.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to eat food after seeing Ghost Stories?
Okay. Ghost Stories got my attention because I like spooky things. I'm a spooky boy. And I like ghosts, and I like creatures of the night and things that go bump. also in the night.
So is it really as simple as you saw a movie titled Ghost Stories and went, well, I do like ghost stories?
Well, I also saw the reviews, and they were generally positive, and that helped. So I was looking for a good horror movie to see, and I'd say this was just good. I wouldn't say it was great, but I wouldn't say it was bad. The thing about it is, Ghost Stories implies there's more than one. It's an anthology of sorts.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's got a frame story where this professor is looking into mysterious supernatural cases, trying to debunk all of them because he loves debunking fake supernatural people. But then as he goes along, it gets harder and harder to debunk them. And that's where the ghosty stuff happens.
So I'm confused. Is it one story or a bunch of stories? Is it actually an anthology?
3 stories, but they're all connected because one guy's looking into all of them. So
I see.
The one director's making all of them, but it feels like an anthology because they're separate characters doing separate things. But I guess it doesn't really fit the definition of anthology.
Well, you have a framing story. I assume it's a story, and then you have stories within the story. And are those 3 stories within the story connected to the framing story? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to debunk these different supernatural cases, and you see the story play out, and you see him at the end of it being like, oh, that's fake, and let me show you why. But then he can't really do it. And so he goes on to the next person like, well, I better move on. And then gradually it gets worse and his worldview starts to shift and things get weirder from his perspective.
So it reminds me of the movie The Case for Christ.
A guy is gradually led into having a mental breakdown with Jesus.
Oh, it was an atheist trying to prove that Christianity isn't real. And then he eventually realized, I just can't prove it. So I love God now.
Oh, wow.
So... yeah, just like ghost stories.
Yeah, they're both fiction.
Ooh.
Zing, fellas. Sorry, everyone. Sorry to get divisive. I'll get back to my analysis now. So, the movie, for the most part, was pretty, baseline. There weren't really jump scares, which I like. I like a horror movie that doesn't need to rely on being like, oh, boo! Because that can get frustrating. Because it's just forced, And it's there's no unnecessary dramatic music cues. There's no freaky things that jump out. It's just, it gives you an unsettling feeling throughout. With an occasional jump that isn't, forced, it feels natural. And I like that. I like just the casual eeriness of it that gradually built up to a really interesting climax and twist that I didn't see coming.
So it sounds like an atmospheric anthology that was spooky.
Yes.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought it was okay.
Yeah, it had Bilbo Baggins in it.
I hope you're referring to the character.
Yes, he had to deliver the one ring, and on the way, he was like, I have to disprove all these ghost stories. And then Gollum is like, there was this one time.
Wow, is Gollum in the room with me right now? Because
Gollum was like, there was this one time a broom fell over. And I was like, that's a poltergeist. And Bilbo's like, no, it's not. It was the wind.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty compelling. No, it's Martin Freeman.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's Ghost Stories. It's good, but it's not necessarily anything special.
Cool. I wouldn't expect a fairly known actor like Martin Freeman to be in it. I just kind of assumed it was some schlocky movie, but no, it seems like it has a vague amount of prestige to it.
It had good production value, I'd say.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of good production value, this hat.
Yeah.
It's got very good production value.
I think any production would benefit from having a hat like this.
Exactly.
They'll maybe take the movies out, which you're about to kind of do yourself, aren't you?
So, this movie was not scary. It tried its hardest to be, but in the end, it just fell so short. And you know what? As I'm saying this, I realize there's 2 possible movies in here that could fit that exact definition. So I'm a bit of a gambling man here.
All right.
So let's see if I ruin my own joke. I didn't. Early Man.
Well, to be honest, it was supposed to be a scary movie, and it did fail.
I didn't get that impression from the trailers that made it look like a claymation involving cavemen.
Well, think about, all right, so you have cavemen, and they're playing a big soccer game.
Right.
How does that not strike fear into your heart immediately? Something's fucking wrong with you.
I guess I have no fear.
But they failed because it wound up being a lackluster, whimsical family comedy.
Oh, that's a real big jump from horror. That they really dropped the ball.
I'll say this. It was basically a sports movie.
Oof.
And they picked soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, which I guess is probably among the most popular international sports, if not the most popular international sports.
Yeah.
So if you're going to pick a sport, fine, I guess that's appropriate. I'm not quite sure why cavemen had to be playing it, but I don't want to say it was bad, because I'm thinking, all right, it's a creative angle. You're going to make a sports movie and put a spin on it. Sure, have it be with cave people. The thing is, though, the fact that they were in the Stone Age hardly came up at all, really.
That's sad. That's a waste of a setting.
I mean, you see them, and they're clearly cave people, but they're mostly talking fine. And it's mostly just a regular old game of soccer. It just... I feel like they didn't really take advantage of the setting the way that they could have. There were glimpses of it. There were moments that you kind of went, oh, okay, we're in a cave-style romp here. But otherwise, there's just a lot missing. And I really, really like Aardman a lot. And I was really looking forward to this movie. I was really disappointed. It was a friendly movie. It's the kind of movie that's nice, and you can't be mad at it. You're like, okay. And it was claymation. You can tell that they put a lot of actual work and effort into crafting the movie at the very least. But while it was friendly, it didn't go the distance, I feel. I don't think the characters were as great as they could have been. I really did not care about the story at all. I feel like it'd be hard for me to care about a sports movie anyway. They have to be particularly interesting, and honestly, making cavemen play the game is not the kind of interesting I mean. The game itself has to be interesting. Yeah. So, swing and a miss.
It's just like the title has nothing to do with sports, so...
That's also true. I mean, when it was first announced, I thought, okay, we're going to have a fun comedy about cave people.
Right.
It took me a long time. I don't think I've really watched the trailers, so it took me a while to realize, wait, this is a sports movie? Okay. It did kind of feel like they took two separate ideas and sploshed them together, and again, I more look at it as a sports movie with a twist rather than a sports movie and a cave person movie squished together. But I don't know, it more plays out like a squishing together. I shouldn't even say that, because again, the cave people stuff just barely factored into it.
It's just the aesthetic, really.
They really could have been completely normal. Like, there could be a reenactment of this just with real people, and barely anything would change. The only thing that'd be weird is the scene where there's supposed to be a prehistoric giant duck with saber teeth. You'd be okay, wait a minute. This might be from cave times. But
well, yeah.
Everything else mostly just kind of felt, plain.
I also saw the premise and I got excited. I'm like, wow, I never saw Stone Age versus Bronze Age before. That's really interesting. And I want to see those two cultures clash, because that would be a lot of fun.
I feel like historically that didn't even make much sense. I was willing to let it go, but I don't think the Stone Age and Bronze Age could have possibly coexisted.
No, definitely
not.
But
it was fine. I'm like, okay. But if you thought the Stone Age thing was bad, the Bronze Age, I mean, on its own, it's already boring, because their thing is, yeah, we're civilized. Like, oh, you mean like real life? Yeah. Oh, you mean like the way things are now? Yeah, pretty much. It's just a little outdated, I guess. And they didn't have cell phones, but they just had stadiums and food, stuff like that. It was just really, really boring. I didn't care about the fact it was Stone Age versus, and again, it would have been more compelling at the very least. It's fine if Bronze Age just mostly reminds you of regular society of modern day. It's fine, sure. But you gotta have contrast, right? You expect the cave people to act really different. Mm-hmm. And in tiny little ways they do, but for the most part, the only really thing that the movie has going is, these cave people are inexperienced because they haven't heard of soccer. I'm like, well, then the problem is less that they're cave people. It's more that they just haven't heard of it, which, yes, it ties into the fact they're less civilized, I suppose, but it reads more as, they just happen to have not heard of it because they're from a different society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm. So, I don't know. It just didn't feel like you were getting much of that contrast that you wanted.
No.
I just wish that they didn't have sports in it at all.
Yeah, probably would have been better.
Found some other kind of... I wanted it to be an epic, and just by definition, if it's a sports movie, unless it's an insane sport that's just all over the map, it's going to be confined to one location.
Yeah.
I wanted there to be a volcano and a thunderstorm and an explosion and dino fights, something insane, and instead I got... Goal! Okay. Oh, well. I'm still rooting for Aardman, but we'll just pretend this one didn't happen.
All right. Like Cars 2 and 3.
It's not Aardman.
No, I'm saying another example like Aardman of a thing you really like is Pixar.
That wasn't clear.
Okay.
You didn't make that very clear.
I tried to make it clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, this movie I'm about to pick, though.
Uh-huh.
You know, I feel like I'm going to gamble the way that you've been gambling.
Okay.
This was an animated movie.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, that could be anything. You're really gambling.
I'm not even sure if there's an animated movie in this hat. I really don't know.
You're all in.
But here we go. This was an animated movie, and that movie is Gemini.
Okay, so it's not an animated movie. Sorry.
I didn't see it, so I had this brief, it could be.
One thing you gotta know about me, I don't watch animated movies.
You freak.
I only saw 2 in 2017.
Hey, this is 3 movies in this episode that you've seen and I didn't.
Oh man, I feel like I'm at the top of the world.
Yeah, and I bet you also feel in the back of your head, uh-oh. There goes my reservoir of movies that Drew hasn't seen.
It's not a reservoir. I've seen a few others.
Is it like 2 more, maybe?
Like 3 or 4.
Maybe.
I think I'm good. Maybe. Anyway, Gemini is a neo-noir set in Hollywood in the present day.
Does it have anything to do with the Zodiac?
You know what? When I watched it, I don't think the word Gemini ever came up. And neither did the Zodiac.
That's good.
Or horoscopes.
I have a friend that's stupidly into the Zodiac, and I hate it, so I'm going to make her watch this whole movie just because it's called Gemini, and she's a Gemini. And
Will.
I just, honestly... I more thought that this would be vaguely related to Geronimo, because I was thinking of Gemini. Sounds like, is it Geronimo or Geronimo?
Geronimo.
Yeah, I just made that correlation. So I thought it'd be a movie about some kind of a leap.
But wait, Geronimo is...
I know it is not actually related.
Okay.
Etymologically to Gemini.
Or like there's also a few letters different.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
That's just what I don't know what Gemini could possibly be about.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, whatever you think it could be about, it's not.
Okay.
What it is about is the assistant of a Hollywood starlet living her normal assistant life when things get complicated and very dark very quickly. It had comedic moments, but for the most part, it had a very noir atmosphere. And traditionally, when you think of noirs or mysteries, you think everything's very, like, dark and the lighting is very, like, strong, but this was a very bright movie, actually, and the music was very synthy and poppy and the type of stuff you'd hear in, like, a hip club, like, yeah, yeah.
You're embarrassing the band right now.
I was doing it sarcastically. I wasn't giving an accurate representation of our sound.
Well, Blinkity Bloop loves all kinds of music. That's what we're all about. We're very inclusive about music, so...
Right. But I'm just saying I was making a parody of what synthy pop music sounds like.
We don't do parodies.
No, I know.
Parodies are really hacky. We're about original music.
I was trying to make a joke in the context of our review.
Okay, fine. I'll let it go.
Okay.
So basically, you're saying that it was really dark subject matter presented in a really bright way.
Yeah. Most of the scenes took place in the day, and when they took place at night, there was still a significant amount of lighting.
Okay, well, I guess it's one thing if it's well lit, but did it feel bright? Like, was it very colorful and friendly feeling while being very dark?
At times, yeah, and a large aspect of it involves social media, and it's hard to make social media feel like menacing or ominous unless you approach it from a really weird angle, like unfriended. But let's not get into that.
Nah.
Anyway, there's not too much to say about it. It's creative in terms of a mystery, and it has things to say about social media and celebrity culture, which you'd appreciate because you criticize celebrity culture, and it also criticizes it in its own way and criticizes the ego of celebrities and how it can take on an unhealthy angle. And the acting was good, and the story was interesting. There were some good twists, so I think it's worth seeing.
Well, you know what? I think it's time for you to Gemini.
To what?
Pick something from this hat. I don't know.
What's
I'm just
that hat?
trying to have Gemini make some sort of sense.
All right. Well, no. What you could do is, if you're a Gemini and you look at your horoscope today, you'll see that you're reaching into this hat. See, that's how you could tie it in.
I'm not, though. You are.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Well, anyway, reaching into the hat.
This is why Zodiac's not real.
Anyway, this movie is about the infamous serial killer, the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski. You ever hear of that guy before?
Yeah.
Yep, this is a very honest biopic about him.
You're just really going for the gambles. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, this biopic's obviously called The Meg.
The Meg?
Yeah, The Meg.
I thought The Meg was a shark movie.
You'd think that, and you'd be right.
No, but you just said that it was a movie about a serial killer. That was the Iceman.
Well, I happen to mix up two
You're
movies.
always mixing up the Iceman with a megalodon, which is what the Meg stood for.
It's really easy to confuse the two.
I just basically assumed it was Megan, which is really stupid, but I see the Meg. I'm like, is it just it's got to be Megan. My brain didn't even question it. It was just a fact. Like, yeah, Megan.
It's like the Jeff. Like, why would you put a "the" in front of someone's name?
I don't think they called it the Meg, but I get it. It was a megalodon. Basically, it wasn't just a shark. It was like an ancient dino shark that was really, really big and just came out of the secret underwater zone that existed forever.
Not the secret underwater zone.
Yeah, and it was crazy because it basically didn't really do that much.
Oh.
I guess it killed some people, and it was fun, but the big finale had it being on a really populated beach, and it should have done one of two things. One, if you want to be tame, everyone panics and runs away, and the shark's about to get some people. No one actually dies. Heroes save the day. Everyone's okay. Cool. Or shark is killing so many people. It's a bloodbath. It's horrifying. And the heroes, they manage to stop the shark from killing any more people, but it's a real tense final battle. Instead, the shark killed like 3 people, and it was a beach filled with what seemed like hundreds, maybe 1,000 people.
And
so
only
it just
picked 3.
It just felt wrong only seeing the shark. Oh man, 3 people. And in real life, it's like all deaths matter, but in a movie, it's like we need more. Come on,
Pile on the corpses. Let's go.
Exactly. So you didn't see the Meg do very much. I guess the Meg was menacing just because it's a giant shark and instinctively it's dangerous. You don't want to be around the giant shark, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It was okay. I hear this movie made a surprising amount of money, so maybe we'll get a hilarious sequel, but Jason Statham, he made it out okay. He fought the shark. Not really hand-to-hand combat or anything, but
very Jason Statham.
there were moments that were approachable to that.
Okay.
Where it's just, whoa, you're really going to do that with a shark? That's, I mean, okay, if that's what you want to do.
Did he go into the shark's mouth and then shoot through its pooper?
No. That's a long distance. It's a very big shark,
Okay.
so
it would take him a while.
It'd be a long way to go from the mouth to the pooper in this
It
shark.
wouldn't be worth the time.
Yeah, but it was all right. I wanted there to be a lot more gore, a lot more death, and ultimately, it took a while for anyone to really even die. At the very beginning, you had someone sacrifice themselves, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it was
Sacrifice himself.
Yes,
Why?
because to save other people.
Oh,
That's
I thought you were
Gosh.
saying they sacrificed themselves to the shark to like please the gods or whatever.
No, but that's very insightful to know what you think when I say sacrifice. Just like, for the cult.
Oh yes, of course.
No, it's to, save people.
Okay.
But
That's fair.
it was a long stretch until somebody else died, and I don't know. It was very B-movie-ish in a way, where characters just kind of, I'm strong, I'm a guy, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. Like, okay, that's fine. But I don't know. The Meg was all right, but it was definitely missing a bite. It needed a lot more bites.
Yeah, I have an important question though. From the trailer, I saw a little funny scene play where a little cute dog fell into the water and like saw the shark coming. Was the little dog eaten by the shark?
I was also wondering that after the trailer. They don't follow up on it, I don't think.
Fucking
The movie did not have the greatest editing, so they kind of showed that scene. You show the dog see the shark and then run away, or paddle away, I should say. And then, I don't know. That trailer was weird, because the trailer sets it up at first, like, this is going to be an intense, serious movie about a monster shark. And then it starts playing somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what? And so, I'm so confused. Because I get what it was trying to go for. It's an intense movie, but it's also very light. But it just didn't seem to mix together at all. It seemed like 2 different trailers glued together.
Yeah.
And in terms of the movie being like that, it wasn't really that light or funny. I mean, I say that it feels like a B movie, but it wasn't even lazy enough in certain points to kind of have that B movie fun.
Yeah.
Really, it was almost too competent for its own good. It's like, yeah, we did this, and now we're going to do this and this. I'm like, okay, but can you mess up a little bit?
Nuts.
It was almost too lazy by not being lazy enough is a really weird way to put it. But if they were... this is going to break my brain trying to phrase this. If they were less lazy by being even lazier, then it would have been a more entertaining movie. Like, they needed to put effort into making it worse by not putting in as much effort.
Right.
But instead we have a mostly competent battle shark movie that's just disappointing, and there's not nearly enough violence. Whatever. We'll probably get a disappointing sequel, and man, like every time someone died, you wanted to see blood or anything, but no, not really.
It was just like the shark just swallowed him whole.
It was really quick editing, just like, oh, there's a shark. Oh, okay, I guess that person got eaten. All right,
That's a
moving
shame.
on.
So it was like very Jurassic World-esque, where there was no real satisfying death.
Even the Jurassic World movies, as bland as they are, occasionally have moments, but the Meg was much worse. I don't think the Meg had a single satisfying thing. I'll say, though, out of the 3 civilian deaths of just extras being eaten at the beach, there was one that was really, I guess visually I see where they were coming from, but there's like a hamster ball on the water. So it was on the surface of the water, and I guess you just play around on the surface of the water. But as the shark comes, this person just tries to run in the hamster ball away from the shark.
Okay.
And then you see the shark coming, and that scene just ends where you hear a pop. So you know, oh, okay, so the shark just ate the guy in the hamster ball.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, that's surprisingly tragic. Like, like, what a horrible way to go. A monster shark kills you as you're just running like a hamster in a giant ball.
It's kind of cute out of context, and then you think about it, and you're just like, oh.
Oh, especially in a movie that really lacked any kind of gore. It was just weirdly tragic if you thought about it for more than 2 seconds, where you go, wow, that's just really sad. Like, at least if you're swimming away and get eaten, fine.
Yeah.
You have your dignity with you, but come on. Come on, man. Anyway. I'm going to try to not have a really specific prediction like you have.
Okay, that's fair.
Let's try to take things in a new direction here.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
We're going to go with, I know. This next movie is about... I am going to go into a specific prediction,
All right,
actually.
go for it.
But it's going to be... You'll see where I'm going with this. This next movie is about a group of kids that try to do a robbery. So, let's see if I can pick out a movie about a group of kids that try to do a robbery. And we have... Zoe.
Okay, well, it was pretty... It wasn't the highest odds.
No, it wasn't. But you know what? It was a different kind of gamble.
Yeah.
And I had some fun. Unfortunately,
I liked it.
Zoe's not really that exciting.
Oh.
It was a shockingly quiet movie. I was watching it, and all the characters, they were just talking in kind of a calm level like this. And after a while, I'm thinking, are they gonna raise their voice at all? And eventually they did for a couple seconds. Oh, they raised their voice. That's crazy. But it was such a quiet movie. Just all the characters were speaking softly. And I guess that's the mood they were going for. It was a very meditative movie. Essentially, it was about a robot that was very similar to a human. So similar you couldn't even tell that it was a robot. And it just sort of played on the ideas of what it's like to try to be a human when you know you're not actually real. And that's been done before. I don't know if I ever saw it done in this style before, where they really didn't play into the pizzazz of, oh, robots or anything like that. They pretty much laid out the groundwork immediately and just asked you to think about it the whole time. So I think that's why it was kind of a softly spoken movie. They were encouraging a state of, let's really meditate here. Let's go zen and think about robots. And for a while, that didn't work for me.
Okay.
I was pretty bored. At a certain point, they actually did kind of get me into it.
How so?
Mostly just because I forced myself to watch the whole thing, and I suppose at a certain point you just lock yourself into it. At least that was my experience, but I think toward the end of the movie it started raising a few more interesting questions or delivering a few more prompts about what it's like being a robot that's not actually real, but trying to pass yourself off as a human. And so I was fine with it. I was into it. I thought it was really funny, though, because as I said, it was a really quiet movie. Mm-hmm. But they had this one scene where they go into this room, and this is visually definitely the highlight of the movie, and it's just a really cool concept in general. It's this room with screens all over the place, and your noise that you make powers these colorful lights, almost like fireworks, or the kind of designs you'd see on those screensavers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You just, sounds would power a visual display.
Ooh.
And it'd be really cool.
Okay.
And so the two characters started getting really loud in that room. And I'm thinking, of all movies to have a room that's powered by volume, it would be in the quietest movie I've seen this year. Like, this feels like a movie that you could play in a library and everyone would go, yeah, this is acceptable. This is nice. Like,
More quiet than A Quiet Place? There were some loud noises in that, so...
you piece of shit. Of all year, this would win quietest movie most other years, but of course A Quiet Place had to be this year.
Sorry.
That's really disappointing for Zoe. That's probably the only thing Zoe wanted to be like, let's be the quietest. Fuck! A Quiet Place came out, motherfuck! It doesn't even have robots! Like...
To be fair, though, there were the loud monsters. The monsters were loud, so maybe...
That's true. Honestly, A Quiet Place overall was probably a lot louder
Yeah.
than Zoe was. So Zoe
honestly,
probably still wins. Congratulations,
I think so.
Zoe.
Good job, Zoe.
And yeah, it's probably mostly boring, if I'm being honest, but it gets you thinking, I suppose, and... It's not the worst thing. Sometimes movies just kind of exist as a prompt, and there are worse prompts, definitely. So, I don't know. If you're in the mood for it, and you just want to have a nice quiet time, this is the movie for you!
Yeah!
All right. And on that note, you know what I'm going to do?
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to...
What? Hello?
Okay, I'm just going to give you the hat.
Okay, well, if you insist. Golly, take it easy, why don't you?
I'm sorry.
It's
Sometimes I
okay.
just get lost in thought, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so...
Do something different this time. I want you to really surprise me here.
Alright, so this movie is about a space alien that comes to Earth and hunts people for sport.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all I'll say about it, because I don't want to give too much away right off the bat, but
What could this be? Let's see.
this movie is Samson.
Well, some could argue that Jesus was an alien.
Some could argue God is an alien.
That's true, and they are hunting people, right?
Yep.
Oh boy, Samson. So we did both see it.
But much like you were never really here, you don't remember much, correct?
Well, I was really pushing for you to see this movie with me because this was an action movie made by the people that brought you The Case for Christ, which, as you know, excellent movie. The people that did God's Not Dead, 1, 2, and 3 also.
Classic.
I wanted to see them take on a superhero movie with Samson. Come on, here we go. Samson, the hero in the trailer, that's exactly what they made it out to be. Samson's just going, "Ugh!" I'm like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah.
And I got inebriated while watching it. And I'm going to say that I didn't pay attention quite as much as I could have. I'll be honest.
There wasn't much to pay attention to.
I did a little research afterward. I had some people catch me up. And from what I understand, even if I had been sober, it was a pretty unentertaining experience. It would have been hard to focus on.
Uh-huh.
That's too bad. Here's my question. I'm not really an aficionado of the Bible, but I feel like if you're going to decide, we want to make a superhero Bible movie, isn't the Bible like a big epic book that has monsters and all this crazy shit happening?
Yeah.
I feel like Samson should not have been the first choice, or is definitely not the best choice for that kind of a movie.
I think it's the easiest choice for people like, if you think of superheroes exclusively as people who fight and punch things, then Samson fits that to a T.
Yeah, but aren't there other cooler ones with better stories?
Uh-huh.
I guess Samson is familiar, though. I had heard of Samson.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty basic.
He's got that cred going for him, I suppose. Yeah. What's his thing again? He's got a bunch of hair, but if it gets cut off, he loses his powers.
Yeah, God gave him magic hair and magic beard, and he grows it out, and I guess the more it grows, the stronger he gets, and he's like, I gotta protect my luscious locks.
Let me see if I can remember this movie.
Okay.
is movie Samson's there, and there's a war going on, and he's fighting in the resistance, and the other side, the war side, is going, hey, you stop that. And then a lady comes in and tricks him into cutting his hair, and then the war side goes, haha, we got you, and we're gonna kill some people you like. And he goes, no. But then at the very end, he's chained up, and he's so strong even without his hair that he brings down the whole kingdom, and everyone dies. And God's like, I did that, buddy. Now you're dead too.
God gave him the power to kill himself.
Yeah. Thanks, God. That's more or less the story, right?
That about sums it up. And I think I was going to say in real life, but who are we kidding? In the Bible, at the end, the girl that tricked Samson into cutting his hair is killed because she's a woman who uses her sexuality as a weapon and therefore must be punished, because the Bible is all about punishing women who are empowered.
Was she not punished in the movie?
It didn't really show what happened, where she's just like, Samson, no! And they kind of are like, maybe we'll dial back on her getting eaten by dogs. Maybe we'll adjust that part a little bit.
Well, if she was going to Samson, no, I assume she was seeing they was taking down the whole kingdom, and she was probably in that kingdom, right? So she probably died too, or was she had a periscope? Like, oh dear, like...
Man, she's like looking with binoculars like, oh no.
Out of her spyglass from her majestic ship.
From like a observatory on a hill. A giant telescope in biblical times. Oh my, Reginald, you're going to want to look at this. Oh, that's Samson. Anyways, yeah, she had a rough go in the Bible. And I guess she had a rough go in this because she's like, oh, I feel regret for my actions. And the movie creators are like, if we kill a woman, even if she kind of deserves it, people are going to accuse us of, I don't know, being sexist or something. So, though maybe the building fell down on her. Honestly, I don't remember either.
I mean, the movie could have just been lazy.
I mean, it not just could have. It was lazy.
What about the fight scenes? Weren't they epic and incredible?
I mean, there was one scene where he beat everyone to death with the jawbone of a donkey, which, to be fair, was in the Bible, but they made what could have been a very interesting scene as fucking boring as possible. And they even had the classic, like, Matrix scene where a bunch of dudes who look the same dogpile on the hero, and the hero, with their, like, brute strength, throws them all off.
Well, I don't know if I'd call it a classic Matrix. I know Matrix probably popularized that, but I feel like that's such a thing by now.
It's a common action trope.
Yeah,
right.
It's sort of its own thing.
That's just the first thing that comes to mind for me. And it's really funny comparing a Bible scene to a Matrix scene.
Was this a very violent movie, or was it mostly pretty tame? Was there blood?
There was occasional little drips of it, but...
Oh, come on. You can't kill a bunch of people with a bone and have there only be a few drips of blood. Are you killing me?
I don't think there was any blood in that scene. He just sent them flying, and it didn't show any close-ups like, oh, my face is bashed in or anything.
Death by tumble? That's the worst kind of death.
Yeah.
Well, poor Samson.
Yeah, he really should have gotten a better go of it, like Noah or Moses.
Oh, we need an epic superhero movie with Noah. Noah,
come aboard, animals.
he has to, you must fight all the animals to get them to go onto your car.
Knock them out and drag them onto your boat. Noah, I must warn you, the giraffes won't go willingly. They will put up a fight.
The giraffes are the final boss of all the animals. It's the giraffes. Oh, man.
I mean, if you see a giraffe fight, they actually, when they fight each other, they swing their heads as weapons, so...
It's basically like a giant axe.
Exactly, or a giant hammer.
I would be really down for that.
And he'd just have to punch a giraffe unconscious.
And there could be the Matrix thing where all the animals are probably on top of it, like,
there's too many hippos.
That would be amazing. Let's see that. Come on, from the people that brought you Samson.
And God's Not Dead 1 through 3.
You can make this happen. Let's go.
Come on, people.
Let me see that rainbow promising that you're going to give us a Noah superhero movie. But I will say this. Speaking of rainbows, this movie made me... it made it rain.
Like money? Like you made
No,
money
it just
rain?
made the weather turn into rain.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Which seems kind of weird that I'd bring that up, but once I explain the title, you'll totally understand why.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
If you don't, I'll explain it to you.
Okay, great.
The movie that made it rain outside was Juliet Naked.
Okay, so go ahead and explain.
Well, you see, because it says naked, it made everyone's pussies wet. And that makes it rain. Did I do it? Did
That's
I do
some
it?
acidic rain.
No, hold on. Let's be a little more classy about this.
Okay.
How did Juliet Naked make it rain? Well, you see. Oh man, I really wrote myself into a corner here.
I think you honestly would have roped yourself in with most movies you could have picked.
No, there might have been some, if I picked the Noah's Ark movie, that would have worked pretty well.
We haven't seen that.
It might not exist yet, but if I picked it,
That's
yeah, because with Juliet naked, she didn't have clothes on,
okay.
which is similar to showering, right? So metaphorically, it rained to kind of symbolize nudity, right? There we go.
Right. of
Okay,
course.
that's the best I'm gonna do. This movie sucked.
Okay, great. Glad we got that out of the way. Premise?
I don't know why I saw it. Some dumb animal part of my brain went naked, but I knew nothing was going to be naked. It'd be disappointing. Juliet Naked is the name of an album that is featured in this movie.
Oof. I already, just from knowing that,
There's basically no nudity at all.
was it about musicians?
It was about a musician that was real famous and then disappeared. And there's this couple, and the guy in the couple is obsessed with this musician and wants to track him down. And the other girl is thinking, my husband is a loon and doesn't have enough time for me. And then by some crazy coincidence, she winds up getting into a pen pal relationship with that very musician. And if you think that sounds contrived, it really is. And
Makes sense?
honestly, the real meat of this is that this girl is getting into a kind of romantic relationship, you could say, with the guy that her boyfriend idolizes. So there should be something there, right? That should be the meat of the movie.
Yeah.
They really barely touch on that. It's mostly just this girl gets in a relationship with this former musician, and then the other guy that was obsessed with him doesn't really play into it much. There's one scene where he meets him and goes, "Oh, you're the musician that I really liked. That's crazy." And the musician is a little crabby, and the guy goes, "Oh, well, stop being crabby. I'm leaving. Goodbye." That's pretty much it. I'm thinking that should have been the big centerpiece of this movie. There's so much to explore there. You know what? There's not actually that much to explore there, but that was the most that we had here in Juliet Naked.
Right.
Play up on that. Let's see something. This character that was obsessed with the musician, that should have been the most interesting thing. Like, the love of his life is with the love of his life. Like,
That is...
come on.
Yeah.
Come on. But they really didn't go into that at all, and there wasn't much more that this movie had to offer. I like Ethan Hawke, who was in it, and he did a fine enough job. I don't know. I guess it meditated a little bit on life and aging, but I didn't care. I did not care. And no one was naked.
What a jip.
All right, Nick, why don't you pick a name out of this hat? A movie name, preferably.
name? Well,
There's only movie names, so that should be easy.
There's
for
not
you.
like Horatio in there?
No.
Oh, okay. You said names at first, so I thought... it
Yes,
might
but
be-
then I clarified it immediately, and you're
Okay.
making a mockery of me.
I apologize. I did not mean to.
It's okay.
So this movie... Well, it's a science fiction film about artificial intelligence and how we as a society are too obsessed with social media. And it uses robots to present a commentary on social media.
Wow.
Yep.
That sounds riveting. What movie?
It does. It's Searching.
Whoa, hold up. What?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so the fact you said social media is really close.
That's I was half right by accident.
Oh man. Oh, if you just picked just social media, I'll give you some credit there. That was really good.
Okay.
Searching was not a movie I wanted to see.
Same.
After Unfriended Dark Web, I was really turned off to the idea of people making movies. It's all on a computer screen. I was convinced this cannot work. No. It just seemed too visually boring. I'm thinking, why would anybody try to do it? So I did not want to see Searching.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not want to see Searching, but I did, and it was really good.
Yeah, blew me out of the water, too. Really not expecting it.
I'll say this much. The fact that it took place on a computer screen, there's a version of this movie that didn't, and I would have been fine with it. I mean, it kind of worked just because the movie was about investigating social media, and it did have a lot to do with screens and computers and things like that. So if the gimmick was going to be in a movie, it did fit in this. It wasn't like it was out of place, but it also didn't feel the most necessary. But at the same time, there were moments where it definitely helped. Like, a lot of the movie did take place searching for shit on a computer screen. So if you didn't have that gimmick, you'd probably mostly just be looking at a computer screen anyway. You know what I mean?
True.
So I don't know, now that I think about it, it was actually pretty appropriate. Maybe still a little bit boring, but I guess that's just the nature of the writing, right? I'm not upset at all that we have a movie that involves searching for things on computers, because maybe it's visually not the punchiest thing in the world, but it's something worth exploring.
It's innovative.
Yeah, I mean, Unfriended wouldn't necessarily prove that, but Searching at the very least proved that, yes, you can have a captivating story told involving looking at things on a computer.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing that Searching proved. But it was just a really solid, gripping mystery thriller, basically.
Yeah, with a very commanding performance by John Cho.
Yeah. And what I really liked about it is this has red herrings, like all good mysteries do. But the red herrings never waste your time, because each red herring, even though it leads you in a direction that is not the right direction to go in, it still gives you a pivotal piece of information. Because the people writing this did not want to waste your time. So they said, all right, while we're misdirecting them, let's still give them a pivotal piece of information about, say, the main character's backstory or the main character's connection with his missing daughter that he's trying to track. And so they kept the movie churning and they kept it going. Even when they were intentionally derailing you, they still kept the momentum up. And I thought, that's great. That's a very simple, basic trick, but it really, really works that they did that.
And you've never really seen it in that many mystery movies before. Usually, traditionally, with, misdirections and mysteries, it's that and the heroes are inconvenienced and then they just have to get back on track. But here, the red herring still is part of the track of the story, and as you said, and that just made it so much better.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. I mean, I'm not recalling that many mysteries, but I can say that this was satisfying. I couldn't really predict exactly what was going to happen, partially because there were so many red herrings. You just felt like it could go any way, but there were definitely a lot of moments where I was just gasping, and I was just waiting to see what happened next, and I was very anxious. And it was great, because again, it all took place almost entirely on computer screens, and still it was able to be really, really tense. Mm-hmm. It's just a very surprising movie. It doesn't seem like something that should have been able to work, but it really did. Mm-hmm. And I liked it a lot. It was just really satisfying, and And the gimmick, well, I didn't really care about it ultimately. It didn't hurt. It helps the movie stand out. I'm going to pick from this hat now.
You go for it.
And this is a movie that really made me tired. Nah, that's boring. But I gotta commit to it. This movie made me really, really tired because it had a lot of beautiful angelic noises that really just kind of lulled me to sleep. It was that kind of a movie. Just the kind that gets you really peaceful and makes you want to go to bed. And that movie, of course, was Basmati Blues.
Okay. I didn't see this.
Honestly, this is a musical. It was not critically well received, but I'm pretty sure there are at least one or two songs that can fit the description of what I just said that are actually a little peaceful. So, hey, there we go. I was kind of right there.
Yes. Did they make you sleepy?
Not really. No. I guess if I was feeling a little bit tired already, I could have decided to be more sleepy, but I was exercising while watching this movie, so
that
it was a little, it would have been a little strange if I fell asleep.
A little bit.
I will say it's Basmati Blues. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Basmati right. I think that's an Indian word or something. It takes place in India. It's about an American that tries to sell something on behalf of her science company to Indian farmers. But then it turns out the company is evil or something, and she falls in love. And it says blues, but it's not really
sad.
I don't think anyone's sad, and it doesn't have that genre of music either.
Huh.
The music, it's not the greatest music in the world, but I thought it was pretty good, honestly. It was mostly classical musical style with pop influences, definitely, but they infused a lot of Indian music in there, too.
Okay, yeah, that's nice.
The singing was not excellent. It was all right. The story is super forgettable, but I don't know. It harkens back to the golden age of musicals. And I'm not talking about the excellent musicals everyone remembers, but I'm talking about a time where they made a ton of musicals.
Right.
And a lot of them were just average musicals that had a forgettable, dumbass story, but, you know, you got people and they hate each other and then they fall in love and then there's a misunderstanding but then they fall in love again. It's just all those dumb cheesy beats and you got musical numbers too, and it was still pretty bad all things considered.
Okay.
Even just sitting through watching it, I didn't really care about the story at all, but Brie Larson, who is the main character in it, she is an Academy Award winning actress and she's got the spunk. She's got the energy. The other character had energy too, I suppose. It wasn't enough. The musical numbers were all right. Choreography got pretty uninspired at some points. The opening number with Brie Larson where it's gonna be a day where I can do things. That's not me imitating it. That's me making fun of it.
Yeah, I should hope so.
Her choreography was basically just, it was in New York City and she's just kind of spinning around and it was so cheaply shot and you could just see people that aren't supposed to be extras because they're not, they're just people that were there that are just looking like, why, what are you doing? Like it was really lame, but it was actually so lame that it was kind of satisfying. So unfortunately there wasn't that level of lame most of the time. It was just sort of underwhelming, classic, average musical fanfare, and the music did help a lot. If there was no music, it would have brought this down a lot, but it was okay. Don't bother watching it.
I wouldn't have. What's basmati?
I think it's something to do with rice.
Was there rice in it?
Rice was a big thing.
Okay.
I guess it was the invention. We invented a good new type of rice.
Okay.
Please don't ask me more about the plot. I don't remember.
I'll let you go this time.
Well, that's probably good. We should probably stop there. That's a record number of movies.
Yeah, that was quite the marathon we ran there.
Yeah, covered 14. Ooh. I don't think anybody's going to care about any of them. That was just a lot of indie stuff or stuff that's old. There's stuff people just don't care about.
Or with Searching, it was good.
Oh, yeah, Searching. There we go.
We
All right.
didn't have that much to say about it, I guess.
I don't know if anyone had that much to say. You know, it was a great movie, and I guess it was mainstream enough, but I don't know if people were really talking about it.
It kind of spoke for itself, I feel like.
Yeah. I guess that's the closest we have here to movies that people are going to remember, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, that was a lot of movies. Wow.
I'm beat.
Yeah. Don't be too beat, though, because we got to get to rehearsal and do that song that you wrote.
Wait. Yeah, rehearsal. Right. But the song?
Yeah, remember? You said a couple weeks ago you were going to write a song for rehearsal? No, you said it. You definitely said it, so we're going to go to rehearsal and we're going to practice it.
I don't know why you're bringing this up now, but I didn't say that.
What do you mean you didn't say that? You definitely fucking said it. Did you not write the song?
There was no song to write because I never said I'd write a song.
No, you said it. You do this a lot where you'll say you'll write something and then you deny it later. So let's actually go to a rehearsal and let's practice that song that you wrote, right?
We can go to rehearsal, but there is no song besides our whole catalog of other songs to practice.
No new song?
No new song.
They didn't write a new song.
You wrote one and you're just messing with me.
When's the last time you wrote a new song?
I don't want to put a number on it. I don't think that's necessary here.
Okay, that's fine. Well, how about this? Are you going to write a new song soon?
Yeah, I can't just churn it out. It has to come to me naturally.
Hey, that's fine. So how about 2 weeks from now, what do you say, for rehearsal then?
I don't like deadlines, man. You know.
Oh, I know you don't like deadlines, but it's important so we can make some progress, and to make sure that I'm not picking up the slack. So how about we say it right here in a recording, just to make sure that you can't deny it later? Jesus How's that sound?
Christ. I'm not sure I feel comfortable, like, signing my name in blood here.
You're not signing your name in blood. You're just making a promise. It's something people do all the time.
Yeah, but this is like a heavy promise, because...
It shouldn't be heavy. Isn't this what you do? You write music.
It is what I do, but the pressure you're putting on me, instead of just letting it happen like it has in the past, makes me feel like the dynamic between us is changing, and it's making me uncomfortable and concerned.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's changing where you're doing a lot less and I'm doing a lot more.
You keep bringing this up. I really am not in the mood today after all these things we've talked about.
It's fine. So let's even it out, right? You think that we're a fine dynamic?
Yeah.
So there should be no problem if you just say, I, Nick, am going to write a song for the next rehearsal.
I can try.
You're going to say you're going to try.
I promise I can try. I promise I can try. That wording's not agreeable to you?
Well, no.
Jesus.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You can't say it. It's all good. That's okay. Don't even worry about it. And you know what else you shouldn't worry about?
What?
Your audio needs if you come to Fissure Mist Media, because they'll absolutely hook you up with whatever you need to do, especially with any kind of movie you got. Low budget, high budget, higher budget. If you got a really high budget, you definitely want to come down here, because Fissure Mist Media would love to do business with you. So make sure, if you have an audio problem, you let Fissure Mist Media be your audio solution.
Yeah.
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 It's time for me to be an audio solution, I guess. For our fucking band.
Yep.